Ladies and gentlemen, federal employees, today we're talking to firefighters, law enforcement, air traffic control. You know who you are, federal employees. When you are special provision, you know the rules are different for you. You got different situation, different benefits. And today we're talking about the three biggest benefits, the three biggest differences that you have access to, that you have the advantage of having that normal federal employees simply don't. Let's talk about what those are and how you can get the most out of them. So, if you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Dallin Haas. I'm a financial planner who serves federal employees, both special provisions and traditional feds, all day long. That's what I do, and I love doing it. Let's talk. One of the first benefits, and this is huge, that you have as a special provision fed is you can retire early. This is fantastic. You can, as you know, as special provisions, the retirement rules for you are much different. You can retire at age 50 with 20 years of service or 25 years at any age. So once you got your 25 years of firefighting time or air traffic control time or law enforcement time, you can retire at any age. Or with 20 years and at least age 50, you can go. And if you didn't know, average Fed cannot retire near that early in the vast majority of cases. So that's benefit one. Your eligibility criteria to retire is much lower than the average Fed. And this is huge with TSP access. The average Fed cannot retire before age 55 and still have access to his TSP immediately. However, special provisions are different. As long as you qualify for a full retirement, which again, age 50, 20 years, or 25 years at any age, if you qualify for retirement, you can access TSP without penalty immediately. Now, let me explain a little bit what I'm talking about. If you didn't know, when you pull money out of TSP, there's two things you might have to pay. Number one is taxes. Taxes, you always have to pay taxes on TSP if you're pulling from the traditional TSP, and that's always. Okay, it doesn't matter who you are. If you're pulling from the traditional TSP, you pay taxes. However, there's another thing you'd have to pay if you pulled out, quote unquote, early, and that's a 10% penalty. So you'd pay taxes plus a 10% penalty if you pull from TSP early. All right. Now, what does early mean? Well, anytime before 59 and a half is normally what early means. However, as feds, there's a couple exceptions to that. Number one, as a traditional fed, if you're just a normal fed, non-special provisions, then there's an exception at 55. If you retire at 55 or later, then you can access TSP. However, special provisions, so now you guys, as long as, again, you qualify for a full retirement, then you can access it right away. So if you're 45 years old, you've got your 25 years of firefighting time or law enforcement time, you can access TSP immediately, and you won't have that 10% penalty. Of course, you'll still have taxes if you're pulling from the traditional side, but you won't have that 10% penalty, which, again, these are huge benefits, especially in 2025, where a lot of feds are being offered ways to retire early. A lot of feds are able to retire early, even if they're not a special provisions, but the vast majority of them just don't have access to TSP yet, if they're retiring before 55. So they have to wait all the way till 59 and a half to even gain access. So having access under special provisions is fantastic. Now, the next benefit as a special provisions is how your pension is calculated. Long story short, I'm not going to bore you with the details, but how your pension is calculated is a lot more generous. The average Fed gets what they call a 1% multiplier, and you as a special Fed get 1.7. So long story short, every single year of work that you do for the government, your pension is bigger. Okay, you get more bang for your buck. You put a year of service in, you get more out than the average Fed. The average Fed gets 1% out, you get 1.7, so almost 70% more when it comes to how your pension is calculated down the road, which, again, great benefit. Great benefit. And last but not least, COLA. Now, I'm not talking about Coke or Pepsi. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about cost of living adjustments. This is huge. If you didn't know, your pension when you retire that you get from the government, it goes up over time, meaning if you retire and your pension is $30,000 a year, that's what it is year one. But year two, it's a little bit more. Whatever inflation was, they'll increase your pension every year by that amount. If inflation was 5%, they'll increase it by that, roughly, okay? I'm simplifying here, but that's roughly what happens, okay? And the average federal employee actually doesn't get any increases to their pension. They don't get any COLAs until 62. So if they retire, let's say at 57, the average Fed has 5 years where they have no protection against inflation, 0. But federal employees that are special provision, so that's you guys, even if you retire way early, which you certainly could, even if you retire at 45, your pension's going to start getting COLAs immediately, and that's for the rest of your life. The rest of your life, which again, even for other federal employees, is rare. Most feds have to wait till 62 to get any sort of increases to their pension. So those are the huge benefits that you enjoy, and there's lots of other perks, but these are the big ones. As special provision federal employees, you retire early with access to TSP, your pension's more generous in how much they give you, and you get COLAs every year in retirement. So I hope that's helpful. Have a great rest of your day, special provision feds, and I'll see you in the next video.